There have been quite a lot of crop circles appearing in the United States in recent years, and many of them seem to be forming alignments with significant Native American sites. There also seems to be connection with the Pleiades star cluster, as Stace Tussell Colligan describes on the website of the Inter-Intelligence Communication. In the early 1990s, there was an association found with crop circles and ley alignments of ancient sites in England. Both mysteries seem to have an inherent connection. Research revealed a combined Native American and Pleiadian theme running through various US crop circles, including the ones near Chillicothe, Ohio. Over several months, the alignment map evolved from a basic triangle into a complex network of geometric connections between and among crop circles and native sacred places. Bear Butte, Devil's Tower, Chaco Canyon and Mount Shasta are on the map, and each has a direct link to the Pleiades star system. The Hopewell Mound group is a large Hopewell culture, 100 BC to AD 500, ceremonial centre, located along the North Fork of Paint Creek in Ross County. According to the archaeologist Nomi Greber, the Hopewell Mound group contains, in both quality and quantity, the most striking set of Hopewellian cultural remains of any site in Ohio. The Hopewell culture is named for the Hopewell Mound group, which was named for the family that owned the earthworks when the archaeologist Warren K. Moorhead explored the site in 1891 and 1892. The Hopewell site is surrounded by 6-foot-high, roughly rectangular earthen enclosure, 2,800 feet long by 1,800 feet wide, known as the Great Enclosure. A perfectly square enclosure of 16 acres was attached to the eastern wall. Within the Great Enclosure there are other smaller geometric enclosures and more than 30 mounds of various shapes and sizes. The largest of the mounds was a series of 3 conjoined mounds referred to as Mound 25. Mound 25 originally was 500 feet long, 180 feet wide and 33 feet high, making it as large as a 3-story building spanning 2 city blocks. Bear Butte is a geological laccolith feature located near Sturgis, South Dakota, United States, that was established as a state park in 1961. An important landmark and religious site for the Plains Indians tribes before the Europeans reached South Dakota, Bear Butte is called Matopaha, or Bear Mountain, by the Lakota or Sioux. To the Cheyenne it's known as Noavos, Giving Hill, or Nakevos, Bear Hill, and is the place where the Maheo god imparted to sweet medicine, a Cheyenne prophet, the knowledge from which the Cheyenne derive their religious, political, social and economic customs. The mountain is sacred to many indigenous peoples who make pilgrimages to leave prayer cloths and tobacco bundles tied to the branches of the trees along the mountain's flanks. Other offerings are often left at the top of the mountain. The site is associated with various religious ceremonies throughout the year. The mountain is a place of prayer, meditation and peace. The Lakota people call it Matopaha, or Bear Mountain, a reference to the fact that its profile resembles a sleeping bear. Revered leaders like Red Cloud, Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull all visited this mountain to pray, and it continues to be a place of pilgrimage for Indians throughout the United States and Canada. Vision quests, sweat lodges and other ceremonies are frequently held on the mountain. Shaco Canyon is a famous archaeological area in the American Southwest. It's located in the region known as the Four Corners, where the states of Utah, Colorado, Arizona and New Mexico meet. This region was historically occupied by the ancestral Puebloan people, better known as the Anasazi, and is now part of the Chaco Culture National Historical Park. Some of the most famous sites of Chaco Canyon are Pueblo Bonito, Penasco Blanco, Pueblo del Arroyo, Pueblo Alto, Una Vida, and Chetro Celt. Because of its well-preserved masonry architecture, Chaco Canyon was well known by later Native Americans. Navajo groups have been living at Chaco since at least the 1500s. Spanish accounts, Mexican officers, and early American travelers. Great house sites are large multi-storied constructions composed of adjoining rooms and enclosed plazas with one or more great kivas. The construction of the main great house sites like Pueblo Bonito, Penasco Blanco, and Chetro Kettle occurred between AD 850 and 1150, Pueblo periods 2 and 3. Shaco Canyon has numerous kivas, below-ground ceremonial structures still used by modern Puebloan people today. Chaco Canyon's kivas are rounded, but in other Puebloan sites they can be squared. The better-known kivas, called Great Kivas, and associated with the Great House sites, were constructed between AD 1000 and 1100 during the classic Bonito phase. Mount Shasta, located near the Oregon border in northern California, holds the distinction of being one of the world's preeminent sacred mountains. It's recognized as an eligible Native American cultural and cosmological property on the National Register of Historic Places. Artifacts found in the surrounding area conservatively suggest at least 11,000 years of human habitation, designating this region as one of the longest occupied areas of North America. On a clear day, Mount Shasta can be seen from over 100 miles away, 160 kilometers. The mountain, part of the 1,000-mile-long Cascade Range stretching from northern California to British Columbia, is one of the largest stratovolcanoes in the world, rising to an altitude of 14,179 feet, 4,321 meters. It is also part of a chain of volcanoes that encompasses the Pacific Basin's notorious Ring of Fire, along which the majority of the planet's earthquakes and eruptions occur. Devil's Tower National Monument is a massive geological formation in Wyoming that's considered sacred by the Northern Plains Indians. Its hundreds of parallel cracks make it a favorable destination for climbers. This remarkable natural formation, unfortunately, takes the prize for the worst-named holy site. Devil's Tower is a tower, certainly, but evil forces have nothing to do with it. Thanks to a clueless army colonel who gave it the designation while passing through this part of northeast Wyoming in 1875, the formidable formation has borne a most unfortunate name. The tower also has a starring role in the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Director Steven Spielberg set the climax of his alien encounter movie at Devil's Tower. Many Native Americans value this landmark for another reason: its sacredness. About 20 Indian tribes claim some kind of cultural or religious connection to the tower. Most identify it with a bear, one of the most powerful totems. To the Lakota and the Cheyenne, for example, it's Bear Lodge, while the Mandan call it Bear's Hat and the Arapaho Bear's Teepee. For many centuries it's been a place of prayer, sweat lodges, offerings and ceremonies. Thus the Devil's Tower name is particularly offensive to Indians, because this is actually a place of great holiness. There are many legends that account for the landmark's unusual appearance. A Kiowa story, for example, says the tower was once a tree. One day 7 sisters and their brother were playing near it when the boy began to growl, his fingers grew claws, and hair erupted all over his body. Soon he had been entirely transformed into a bear. The girls ran to the base of the tree, which told them to climb to the top of its branches. As they did so, the bear began to claw at the trunk, creating deep gashes in the sides. The 7 sisters leaped into the sky and became the stars of the Big Dipper, while the tree hardened into stone, its sides still scored by the bear's claws. American researcher Jeff Wilson, director of the Independent Crop Circle Researchers Association in Ohio, considers the mound structures in that state to be on a par with those in Wiltshire, England. Why? Because of all the strategic alignments. The famous Serpent Mound of Ohio is in alignment not only with stellar, solar, lunar and planetary astronomical positions and various local crop circle formations, but also apparently with one of England's more famous crop circles, the Barbary Castle tetrahedron formation that appeared in Wiltshire in 1991. Some think that this particular alignment may possibly indicate that the Serpent Mound is a place of hyperdimensional geometry and hence a place of consciousness transformation. Wilson's group has documented a Huntingberg, Indiana formation from 2006, noting its alignments to 8 other formations, one up to 2,600 miles away in Santa Rosa, California. The alignments are so common that it's led Wilson to ponder whether these signs in the fields have all been planned in advance to unfold across space and time. Other key alignments occur with specific formations having to do with the Mayan calendar and its age-old prophecy. Like Silver, Barbara Hand Clow, author of Alchemy of Nine Dimensions, the 2011-2012 prophecies, and Nine Dimensions of Consciousness, 2004, believes that crop circles activate human consciousness in the same way that sacred sites do. She asserts that specific formations like the Barbary Castle formation, exemplary of the dimensional structure of the Mayan prophecy of the 9 dimensions of consciousness, the Ratchet Circle in Hampshire, England, exemplary of the 3 speeds of light and how motion and spin activate matter out of geometric form, and the cow down symbol, also in Hampshire, exemplary of how electromagnetic forces are used in creating matter, are all pertinent to the revealing of the Mayan tradition of the 9 dimensions of consciousness for which humanity is being prepared. From a UFO Hunter's Guide by Brett Lewida. The Serpent Mound, Ohio. The Barbary Castle formation in 1991. The crop circle at Huntingberg, Indiana. I've twice visited crop circles in England, and on both occasions they were found to be in alignments with ancient sites. The first was in July 1990 at Cheesefoot Head in Hampshire, on a field trip with the London Earth Mysteries Circle. This is on the E line, seemingly the widest and most powerful lay yet found, which was eventually found to go from Leys down on the Isle of Sheppey to Cape Cornwall via the Cerne Abbas Giant. Eileen Roche, the discoverer of the E line, was on the trip and noticed that the corn appeared to have been laid down, not trampled. She found the circle powerful in the same way that many prehistoric sites are, and I found that when dowsing it, the rods appeared to spin in one direction, one on the outside of the circle, but in the other direction further in. Eileen called the pentagram in the punch bowl the Dod, as the shape reminded her of a snail, as Alfred Watkins mentioned in connection with the Dod place name element in his books. The party went back along the road towards Winchester and observed another circle in a field to the right. We met some other crop circle enthusiasts in the car park who said it had been there for about 3.5 weeks. The party then had a look at the Tree of Life pentagram opposite a strawberry kiosk. These were the shapes as drawn by Eileen and their positions in relation to the E line. Later I found a map in the circular of the Centre for Crop Circle Studies showing the alignments between the 1990 crop circles around Cheesefoot Head and the tumuli in the area. See the videos The Pitch Hill Project and Worlds of Energy on the James Goddard Mysteries channel on YouTube.
If a wind picks up and do something about 3 days later and add a little bit. Yeah, we're going the other way now. If I'm further into the circle,
Okay.
this way, if I'm on the outside edge, I go that way, look. I'm on the outside edge, they go
were going opposite ways, but then when I go inside, they came.
Let's get these. Just feel it. Yeah. Hi. This is only on one side. Have a look, Richard. It doesn't continue. It doesn't continue. Look.
Just one side of the circle?
Just one side of the circle.
This side is...
And look how the corn's laid down.
Yes.
You know, it's not been trampled. It's been laid in a regular...
On this side, it's not. The circle continues round.
This takes my breath away. Right, let's go.
But the farmer doesn't want to have somebody in the
Where's the best place to see this one from?
to see this, you can see this from the devices road.
Ah.
But it's easier to let the car here.
Yes.
To park it here.
Yeah.
And to walk on the road, which is climbing the hill.
Right.
And the tram line are like this, so
yes.
you can enter the field easily.
Ah, good.
But when you're riding here, you will find a new, how do you say this, cart,
Sign?
Sign.
Oh, yeah?
Caution,
Oh,
there
no.
is pesticide in this field and so and so.
Ah.
But if you enter the field anyway, you can find a new crop circle.
Right. A circular one.
Three circles and two corridors or two avenues.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
exactly how to see that.
Because I come up here again in 10 days. I'm hoping to catch it quickly before they
Harvest it.
harvest all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Have you seen all those with your circles on your map?
Oh, yeah.
Today?
Well, in the last 3 days,
Last 3 days, yeah, what
I've
fun.
travelled all of these. I did a grid system and kept driving up and down all of them.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
Like that.
Uh-huh.
To my wife got
Excellent.
seasick.
Are there any in the near vicinity of here, apart from that one down the bottom there?
Well, down the road here, through the S Bend, there's one on the
Right.
right. If
Yeah,
you
we
look
saw
there.
that one.
Yeah.
If you go further down to the Green Gate,
Yes.
By the strawberry kiosk.
yeah, big Green Gate.
It's in the field, in the slope. And at the bottom of the field, you have the town of Bristol.
Right.
So from the field, you can see, let's say, Alpha Bristol.
Dantry Hill.
Bristol. And it's a picture down here.
Right.
You have to take the
It is Friday, July the 26th, 1991, the Daily Telegraph.
The German case, it seems that this one was the most complex one on the sea.
And now this.
Yeah.
It's all coming up and going around like that. It's a crotchet.
This
right.
isn't round, is it?
No,
That
it's
pointy
sort of
here.
that sort of shape.
It just looks a bit like something wandering down.
Well, it is sort of like...
Oh, there's another one in there, is there? Gotta go down this one line.
Have you seen?
This is a great big circle going round.
This map, which appeared in the circular of the Centre of Crop Circle Studies in autumn 1991, shows alignments between this year's circles at Cheesefoot Head and the tumuli in the area. The lines converge on a group of 5 circles to the south. During 1992, I made 2 trips to Norfolk, one to the university for a conference on multimedia and the other for a week's holiday. On the first visit, when just 5 minutes from arriving at Norwich station, I saw what appeared to be a crop circle. It was an annular ring with some kind of design at one end, but we went by so quickly I couldn't tell its exact shape. I took several video pictures of it on the way, but was unfortunately interrupted by the ticket collector at the crucial moment, so I didn't get a picture of that end of it.
After returning from the conference, I sent details of the crop circle I'd seen to Matthew Gregory, the local investigator for the Centre of Crop Circle Studies. After some difficulty caused by my originally identifying the wrong place on the map, he eventually found it near Swainsthorpe. It consisted of a large annular ring about 48 yards across and a smaller adjacent circle about 18 yards across. The small circle had been completely flattened, except for a small standing oval in line with the main axis of the circle. It resembled an engagement ring with a jewel. When Matthew and his friends arrived at the circle, the corn had already been cut 6 days earlier, but the swirls of the previously flattened corn were still visible, as the combine had missed the flattened stalks. The railway embankment is visible to the right of the picture. On another of Matthew's pictures of the circle, there is a white dot high in the sky above it. Is this a photographic defect, or an example of the small lights picked up on video around corn circles? There was no other dot of this kind on any of his pictures. When we arrived in Norwich for our holiday week, one of the first places we visited was the circle site. We were surprised and pleased to see that it was now even more prominent, picked out by the green of growing grass. Doris immediately spontaneously mentioned clicking noises she could hear, which I heard also, but which didn't come out on the video. A strong dowsing reaction was obtained in all the flattened parts of the circle, but not in the centre part of the annular ring. We found the crossing point of the previously drawn Leys to be a deciduous clump, which dowsed as a ley centre. The Leys were picked up, one coming from the church at Caistor St Edmund, and the other from the clump near Earlham Hall. Another bisecting them and passing through the centre of the circle was found. This goes also through Swainsthorpe Church to the south, then through the clump and to Chapel Hill south of Norwich, and a main crossroads on the ring road adjacent to a viewpoint. An ear of corn from the circle shows that it was bent part way up the stalk, a difficult feat for anyone making the circle with a roller or by treading the corn down.